In this corner, weighing in at 205 pounds, hailing from Marietta, Georgia, the son of the late great Dusty Rhodes, a man who many thought had all the tools to be a megastar, but just didn't have that it takes. A man who walked away from WWE in 2016, only to reinvent himself over the next 5 years, traveling the world, working for various promotions, learning from the best, growing as a performer and as a person. And then when his time was right, he came back to WWE and immediately became one of their top stars, a man with seemingly limitless potential. It's Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. Now, who am I kidding? You already know who this is, don't you? But I want you to try and guess who it is I'm talking about. Leave your guesses in the comments below. And while you do that, let me tell you a little story. It was the summer of 2006. I was 18 years old and training at Ohio Valley Wrestling, which was WWE's developmental territory at the time. One day during a TV taping, I found myself sitting in the front row watching a match between two very familiar faces, Cody Rhodes and his tag team partner at the time, Mike Knox. As the match was coming to an end, I started to notice something strange. The crowd was behind the heels, as they say, meaning the bad guys. Usually when you're in development, the fans don't know you and you're kind of like a work in progress. You've been given every opportunity to root for you, so you're obviously the good guy or babyface. But in this case, Cody and Knox were playing the villains. And usually you can tell when someone's not quite sure of themselves, because if the crowd starts to turn on you, it can be very distracting and lead to a lot of awkward moments. But the thing I noticed was that Cody wasn't fazed at all. In fact, he was thriving. It was clear to me that this kid knew exactly what he was doing, and he had a confidence about him that was just infectious. After the match, I remember thinking to myself, man, I hope I have half the confidence of that guy one day. Fast forward 14 years, and I'd say I've gotten pretty close to achieving that goal. Thanks, Cody. Here are some things that make Cody Rhodes the American Nightmare. No. 1. His famous entrance theme, appropriately titled The American Nightmare. When Cody entered the ring, the crowd would boo him relentlessly. However, even though he was the bad guy, there was still something undeniably cool about his entrance. There was a seriousness to it, a rawness. It was almost as if the character understood that what he was doing was wrong, but he didn't care. This was definitely helped by the addition of his entrance video package, which debuted in May 2016 against his father's longtime rival, Ted DiBiase. The video package told the story of how Cody had left WWE in 2015 after feeling creatively stifled and unfulfilled. It also showed him training hard in the gym, working on his craft and reinventing himself. The final shot was of Cody standing in front of the American flag with a determined look on his face as the iconic guitar riff of the American Nightmare blared through the arena. No. 2. His mixed wrestling ability and athleticism. Let's face it, Cody probably wasn't the most gifted in-ring wrestler, but what he lacked in technical ability, he more than made up for in heart and soul. There was always a sense of urgency to his matches, a feeling that he was always on the verge of breaking out into the next level. And to be honest, there were times when he actually did break out, especially during his feud with Seth Rollins in 2015, which was one of the best feuds of that year. In fact, their match at WWE Night of Champions in September of that year was so good that it's often forgotten that they had to finish it off with a fast-paced run-in finish due to time constraints. If you haven't checked out that match in a while, I highly recommend it. It's definitely worth a watch. Number 3, the third thing that makes Cody Rhodes the American Nightmare is his charisma. Now, some people might think of charisma as a quality that you either have or you don't, but I believe that it's a skill that can be learned and honed over time, and Cody is a prime example of that. When he first debuted in WWE in 2010, he was still very green, but you could tell that he had something special. There was just a certain presence about him that demanded attention. Fast forward a few years and his promos were some of the best in the company. He was able to connect with the audience on a personal level and make them care about what he had to say. Even when he was playing the villain, the fans still rooted for him because they saw him as a sympathetic underdog. And that's really what Cody is at his core, an underdog. Despite coming from a family with a rich wrestling history, Cody had to work harder than most to prove himself. He was constantly underestimated and overlooked, but he never gave up. Instead, he used those setbacks as fuel to become the best wrestler he could be. The fourth thing that makes Cody Rhodes the American Nightmare is his connection to one of the most important families in wrestling history. From the time he was born, Cody was destined for greatness. His father, Dusty Rhodes, was one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time, and his grandfather, Paul Jones, was a legendary promoter who helped shape the wrestling industry into what it is today. It seemed like Cody had everything set up for him to succeed, but he had to go out and earn it. He couldn't just coast on his family name. He had to prove himself to the fans. And that's what made Cody's eventual rise to the top all the more satisfying. It was a classic David versus Goliath story. And in the end, David came out on top. No, 5. The fifth and final thing that makes Cody Rhodes the American Nightmare is his signature move, the disaster kick. There's just something about the way he delivers that kick that just gets under your skin. Maybe it's the way he stalks his prey before delivering the blow, or maybe it's the sheer power of the kick itself. Whatever it is, the disaster kick is a move that will forever be associated with Cody Rhodes. Now, here's the thing. All of these things that make Cody Rhodes the American Nightmare are also what make him human. He's not perfect. In fact, far from it, but that's what makes him so relatable. We all have insecurities and things we need to work on. But Cody doesn't try to hide those things. He embraces them and uses them to make himself better. That's why he's the American Nightmare. He's not afraid to show the world his flaws. In fact, he wears them like a badge of honor. As I mentioned earlier, Cody left WWE in 2016 after feeling frustrated with his creative direction. He had been with the company since 2005 and felt like he had nowhere else to go, but he had options. He could have stayed in WWE and continued to work his way up the ladder. Or he could have gone to TNA, now known as Impact Wrestling, where he would have been a top star in no time. But Cody wanted more than just another wrestling paycheck. He wanted to reinvent himself, to become someone new, someone better. So he took a leap of faith and traveled the world, wrestling for various promotions and learning from the best. He worked for Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and even became a 2-time IWGP United States champion. He competed in the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match and main evented multiple pay-per-views. Through it all, Cody remained focused on his goal, which brings us to the sixth and perhaps most important thing that makes Cody Rhodes the American Nightmare: his unwavering determination to succeed. When Cody returned to WWE in April 2022, it was clear that he had unfinished business. His goal was simple: to win the WWE Championship and finish the story that had been passed down to him by his father. Unfortunately, Cody's run was cut short when he suffered a torn pectoral muscle just days before WrestleMania 38. But that didn't stop him. Cody still competed at the event, albeit in a non-competitive match against Seth Rollins. Since then, Cody has made a full recovery and is once again gunning for the WWE Championship. And I have a feeling that his determination won't be denied for much longer. So there you have it, folks. Those are just a few of the things that make Cody Rhodes the American Nightmare. What do you think? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Catch you next time.